Hey guys, I am Ibigandscary. I'm bringing you another StarCraft 2 replay, this time featuring Goosegg in the top right corner playing the red Protoss, and in the bottom left we have the blue Terran, which is PANsatyrLedr. I'm going to go with Pan for Pan. I've casted one of his games before. He is in low bronze, I believe. Red versus blue. We are on Cloud Kingdom. Tells me that we are in a ladder match, playing for the big bucks, trying to work your way out of bronze up to silver, out of all the mineral leagues, into the glorious Master League, I'm sure. Terran versus Protoss is a pretty fun game. Lots of different openings you can do. The most interesting one I've seen is a proxy barracks with a tech lab on it, producing some marauders, and then it's supported by another barracks back at home. And that one proxy barracks opening is so awesome because those marauders get right to the front door and they do just a magnificent amount of damage. And in reality, the only thing you're losing as a Terran player is the tech lab, because once you deny the expansion, once you force the player to play off of one base long enough, you can grab your own expansion behind it. It's not a build designed to win the match by any stretch of the imagination. It's just designed to contain your opponent long enough for you to get up higher tech. Really cool opening. I think Killer Koala did it. You should watch that video too if you play Terran, because it's quite clever. Maybe it wasn't Killer Koala. I think it was. We can see 2 gateway coming out of Goosegg. This is another popular opening. 2 gate pressure, lots of zealots coming out. Zealots not the most cost-effective unit against a multitude of Terran, but they do this building opening does a great job of denying the expansion. So both players are going to be cautious in this build. Pan is getting up his wall off, prepared for some sort of aggression of Goosegg, and we can see Goosegg with his double gateway and no early gas is going for a more heavy dual zealot play. SCVs come in to scout. Pan, seeing that there's no geysers up, it doesn't look like either player is cutting harvesters, but with both gateways, one of them just now starting to produce zealots. Pan knows to prepare for that aggression. He has the wall off complete. He's got 2 SCVs that are idle at the wall, so he's probably going to throw down a bunker, maybe just get up another barracks to produce more marines, but he knows that with 500 minerals he's going to have to do something soon. It's going to be interesting to see if Pan decides to produce a bunker on the low ground. You can put it in the corner right here and then build the command center up top, kind of denying the pressure from the zealots. Double gateway with no cyber core or anything like that. The zealots really aren't going to be too much of a problem for Pan, and if he gets another bunker up, he's going to be able to hold off that aggression. But it looks like he's electing to build the bunker on the top ground. Maybe, hopefully, he'll spend some of the excess minerals to produce another CC so that he can transfer it down into the low ground once he holds off the basic pressure. Goosegg still producing zealots, 4 of them at a time. 2 of them at a time. Scan going down. Really want to spin that on mules. At this level of the game, you know what to expect with those two gateways down. Seeing that the gas has gone up. Actually, I don't think that scan was in place enough to see the gas. It was not. So that's a bit of a misstep there, but not too important. What is important is to keep on a good eye on the number. Maybe having a command or a SCV right here down just underneath the ramp to see when these guys decide to move off, if they do. And because they're all melee fighters, you can just move up to the top of the ramp and still scout, see that there's nothing new being built. Factory being built with double gas for Pan, so that's a good choice. Zealots are pretty cost effective against Hellions if they can succeed in cornering them, but once those zealots move out, that front door is going to be rather exposed, and these Hellions could probably run in there and do quite a lot of damage. Another thing that he might be thinking of is going 1-1-1. We don't see any extra bunkers. We don't see any tech lab or reactor on these barracks, so yeah, it could be that we'll see a starport coming out directly behind this factory, and maybe some medevacs for some drops. Abuse the fact that this army that Goosegg is fielding currently is very immobile. Or it could be siege tanks going for that late push, slow and methodical. Neither player grabbing their expansion still. No aggression out of either player. but we can see a Forge and a Cyber Core coming out for Goosegg, so he's going to be getting some upgrades. Maybe we'll get a Twilight Council come out once the Cyber Core comes down, and we can see some Zealot Charge. Starport is being built right next to that factory, and a tech lab being added on the factory. Hopefully this starport will lift off and utilize the tech lab so that we can see some maybe cloaked Banshee harass coming out, with the Cyber Core just now finishing and all of the money being spent to build Zealots. The anti-air that's going to be coming out for Goosegg is going to be rather stunted, so a Banshee harass could definitely do quite a lot of damage, theoretically. The Forge is down, so anti-air could be built in the way of static defenses, but it still will be very effective, very cost-effective, especially if this force pushes out. Those Banshees could just rain down fire from above. 3 gateways still producing Zealots, 4th one on the way. Warp Gate Tech just now getting started at the 8-minute mark. You can see a tank is being built, siege mode not on the way, but we see a reactor is being added onto that starport. So it's a classic mixture here for units for Pan. As far as Terrans are concerned, a lot of Marines, a siege tank, and then medevac to support it. Very classic. Not a lot of unit producing facilities, but it looks like he is gearing up to take that expansion, having not had to deal with any aggression out of Goosegg. Goosegg, though, has quite a lot of money saved up. Hasn't moved to take his expansion yet, but is moving his Zealot out just to scout, see how far behind he is with expansions, and that number is 0 currently. An area that he's not behind, though, is upgrades, with the level 1 upgrade going to be finishing at about the same time. Terran armor is going to be finishing. Both players are going to be neck and neck when it comes to upgrades. Protoss upgrades, I'm not sure exactly which one this will favor. These Marines probably won't benefit from that upgrade as much as they'd benefit from, say, combat shields or stim, especially because it's only Zealots with this unit composition and no charge on the way. I'm not sure how effective that's going to be. What is going to be effective, though, is Goosegg grabbing this expansion, this Nexus being halfway done right as the command center lifts off, and is hopefully going to be making its way to take the lower expansion. Siege mode finally getting started. We have 2 siege tanks on the ground and another barracks or 2 getting added into the mix. I expect to see some tech labs added onto these barracks so we can get out that all-important combat shield and stim to deal with any aggression coming out of Goosegg. Goosegg actually playing the defensive for now, throwing up some photon cannons, dealing with the inevitable push. I'm not sure who's going to push first. It looks like both players are looking more towards the end game. Again, all ground-based units. You really need some sort of air attack or air defense if you're Goosegg, if you're Pan. It'd be so easy to circumvent the photon cannons. No wall off to speak of. These barracks could really lift off, and I think it only takes 3 barracks to choke up this entire place, which would be phenomenal if these Zealots decide to charge in and run into the 1,000 health that a barracks has. Even if it ends up that the tech lab's on the outside of the wall off, yeah, it's vulnerable, and yeah, you lose it almost instantly, but if you leave 1 barracks there and just build another one down yonder, then you can have that tech lab up in relative safety. No upgrades getting started, but with that tech lab out, hopefully we're going to see something coming out sooner or later. It's very fortunate that Pan is getting so many of these Marines, even though these guys, I think they're choked off. You'll need to destroy that bunker sooner or later. But we can see a starport being built. Stargate for Goosegg. Some Phoenixes coming out might cause some damage to the medevacs. It's also possible that the Void Rays will be on the way, which will be the answer to any sort of harassment that could come out of Pan. At the same time, Twilight Council, hopefully to get the charge, and we can see a Robo Base up for some Immortals. And there we go. Multiple gateways being finished off. A lot of gas, a lot of mining, a lot of minerals for Goosegg. He's not really spending it. I wonder what he's saving for. Supply is very high too. Hopefully we'll see another Stargate or 2 go down, and he can utilize all that excess supply. Medevacs are done. It looks like Pan was thinking about doing a drop, but decided to back off and reconsider, maybe regroup. Maybe he's just waiting for the stim pack and combat shields. It's interesting that you see both of them keyed up on the same, because both of these barracks don't have add-ons at all. If a tech lab were to be built and started combat shields on it, I bet that they would finish up closer together. As things are now, then combat shields are going to be significantly delayed. Void Rays are being built, actually, up for Goosegg. Void Ray, good choice. I don't know if Phoenixes would be a better choice, just because it looks like there's not a whole lot of Marines and they don't have stim yet to answer that. The harassment that you can do on both of these bases with Phoenixes is pretty high, but Void Rays, if they can succeed in taking down the anti-air in an area, you can't match the DPS that can come out of them. We also see a robotic support facility is being built, a robotics bay. So those Colossus are going to be an issue for Pan to deal with, unless he switches over to Viking production. Vikings, a good choice against those Colossus. We can see the upgrades are finally getting underway, and the army is biding its time, maybe waiting for that upgrade. Stim going to finish at about the same time this attack hits. Level 1 infantry also about 50 seconds away. So if Pan waits long enough for the upgrades to finish, he could hit, theoretically, this probe line at the perfect time. Not a lot of stalkers down. Those siege tanks will be able to switch over to siege mode, and if those Marines can survive long enough without the combat shields to do enough damage to the zealots to take them out, which still don't have charge, there is no reason why this can't be just an absolutely devastating attack. It looks like he is waiting just long enough for the upgrades to finish. Another 10 seconds, 5 seconds to go. So yeah, Pan doing a very good job of timing this. Actually, this is well above what I'd expect out of a bronze player, to time it so perfectly. Combat shields just now getting started, but Stim and level 1 being the heavy hitters. No siege mode out of the tanks just yet. Now they're switching up once they meet resistance. The Marines not stemming, but they are getting healed up. There goes the stem right as the zealots meet them, and they just absolutely melt away, as do pretty much all of Goosegg's standing army. We can see that all he has is 2 zealots, but those Void Rays are out on the field, and they're going to be thinking about doing quite a lot of damage. I wonder where they are exactly. I see a red dot. Nope, that's an observer. So Pan is going to town, making sure that there's no observers or cloaked units in the field. Plenty of siege tanks left. The Marines have taken quite a heavy hit. 1, 2, 3 Void Rays. Not a lot of Marines. 6 of them left to 3 Void Rays. So this is going to get cleaned up, but quite a lot of damage has been done already. And the most important thing is these Void Rays are revealed before they're in the base. One of them is going to get focused down. The Medevac's doing an excellent job of healing them up. Very surprisingly, the Void Rays not succeeding in taking down just 6 Marines, just showing you how powerful those Medevacs are when healing. 2 of them remaining. Plenty of siege tanks left. I really thought that was going to be the end for the aggression. One of the photon cannons, noticing that the siege tanks are eventually going to work their way up. Another Void Ray and a Stalker popping out. If they focus down, no, focusing down the siege tanks instead of the Marines. You got to focus down the Marines first. Unfortunately, that's going to spell a disaster. But with only 2 Marines left, I don't know how much damage Pan can think he is going to do with this aggression. Still, the Medevac's healing almost as fast as the single Stalkers, which are being warped in at one time. Are these guys all on cooldown? 1, 2. Okay, that's 2 that could be warped in. He's just warping them in 1 at a time. He's got so much money in supply. I don't know why he's only warping them in 1 at a time. Finally warping them in 2 at a time so that they can actually do damage. Taking down the Medevacs to prevent that healing. Idle Void Ray over in the corner. Pan's done a ridiculous amount of damage from this. Zealot popping out. Finally going to wrap up this aggression, but I think Goosegg has been knocked out of the game by losing that expansion. All of his probes here are idle. He's got quite a lot of money left over, but the mining is going to be at a complete standstill until he can secure an expansion. He's got a lot of money. He can definitely afford to warp in a standing army, but you can see that the amount of money he has is almost half of what Pan has, and Pan is constantly producing more units. He's got pretty much the entire standing force that he spent on that aggression up again. So he's got to be feeling comfortable. That expansion is going to be attempted to be taken again, but I think we can expect Pan to move out shortly and take them down. And finally, he's got fully upgraded units. 1-1 with the combat shields and the stim pack. I wonder... No, those siege tanks are just biding their time. There's plenty of room out the back for them to slide between those barracks. Still, this bunker hasn't gone down, full of Marines. I expect to see that salvaged. It looks like Goosegg is just waiting for some anti-air to come out by way of some Vikings. Surprising to see the gas so low. 1, 2, it looks like he's short 1 SCV on this refinery, and this one has way too much. And then he's not mining off of either gas down here. It looks like his gas is what's holding him back right now. He's also supply blocked, but that's pretty normal. For this level of play, I mean, that happens to everybody, regardless of the level, I'm sure. More Void Rays coming out of Goosegg, but that was kind of a one-trick pony. He's going to be in a bad shape if another drop comes out. These photon cannons will help him if it's a straight-up attack, but if he doesn't have anything in position to deal with the siege tanks, long-distance fire to the photon cannons, then Pan's going to be able to just siege him until he breaks down the front door, take down that nexus, and that's going to be all she wrote. Finally, Goosegg getting his economy back up and running. Harvester count is significantly smaller than the other player, but that infrastructure is still in place. He's finally warding off the back door with the photon cannons to prevent that drop, so if Pan decides to try it again, he'll be in more trouble. Getting up both gases down at the natural. Great play there. I expect to see this guy lift off and move over to the third shortly to take advantage of the more minerals that are over there. You only got 2 left, and both of them are nearing 100 on both counts. So once that falls down, all these probes are going to get idle, and there's quite a lot that aren't doing anything just yet. Both players pretty much on one base right now, so even though there is a massive harvester count difference, you can see that the mineral income and the gas income is pretty much neck and neck, because both players are mining off of the same amount of gas and minerals. And here we go, Pan moving out. Got a large amount of anti-air by way of Vikings and much more Marines. Siege tanks moving out, 3 of them. These Marines have got to be careful, though. It doesn't look like it's going to be a drop if they decide to move in with these photon cannons. I think they can take them out. Shouldn't be an issue there, but they'll take some damage. And if there are enough Void Rays, and we can see that there's 3 out right now, but what's being built? Another Stargate's being built, and with all that gas that Goosegg has left up, there's no reason why we can't see a huge swell of Void Rays. Fleet Beacon also coming out, so maybe carriers. But with the 50 supply to 105, I think Pan has this well in hand. He's going to be able to push in. He's just looks like he's waiting for the trickle of siege tanks to come in. A couple Marauders left at home. That bunker's still full of 3 trapped Marines. Pulling probes. Hopefully they're going to meet over. Yeah, they are. Another CC was built. Going to meet over and taking the third at the same time. He pushes up with aggression. A good play there. 2 Void Rays on the way for Goosegg. He needs Pan to just wait for a couple more minutes so he can get up 5 Void Rays instead of just 3. He needs to really focus down those Vikings and then the Marines. Charge is done on the Zealots, charging in and melting away very quickly. 27 Marines will be able to wipe up the 2 Void Rays that are moving down, and as the Void Rays trickle in, you can see them just taken down almost instantly. It looks like Pan's got this. We're just waiting for Goosegg to GG out of the game. It's a good game by both players. I especially like the drop, how successful that was. I feel like Goosegg might have been able to do the 2-gate aggression, but it's risky with a base that has such a large rush distance. It's so hard to do that, especially against Terran. It would work much better against Zerg, but that's the sort of build I expect to see against Zerg, not necessarily Terran. GG from Goosegg. Good game, Pan. Good game, Goosegg. I appreciate you guys watching this. If you have any comments, let me know what you think in the comment section here or Reddit, or you could PM me if you have a game you want me to cast one way or another. I am Ibigandscary. I will see you guys later. Bye.